I found the bank statements in a shoebox under my brother's bed. March 2024. 3 weeks after the funeral, his apartment still smelled like him, coffee and old books, and the cologne he wore on dates he never told me about. I'm Sarah Brennan. I'm a CPA. I analyze numbers for a living, find patterns, spot inconsistencies, and I was staring at 6 years of monthly transfers, $2,000 every single month to an account labeled Eshe. My brother died at 28. Car accident. Instantaneous, they said. Like that makes it better. And I was discovering he'd been sending someone $144,000 over 6 years, someone I'd never heard of. Pause. If you've ever lost someone before you could understand them, before you could say thank you or I'm sorry or I see you now, this story is for you. We share real stories about the people who loved us in ways we never saw. Subscribe so you don't miss them. Now let me tell you about my brother, about what I found in that apartment, and about the person I thought I knew. His name was Michael. Michael Brennan, 28 years old when he died, 4 years older than me. My only sibling, the person who was supposed to be at my wedding someday, walked me down the aisle since Dad left when I was 6. Except Michael and I weren't close. Not anymore. Not for years. We used to be when we were kids. He taught me to ride a bike, helped with homework, scared away the boys who were mean to me in middle school. But somewhere around my freshman year of college, he changed, got distant, cold, stopped calling, stopped visiting. I thought he was busy. He worked in IT, some tech startup, long hours, he said. When I'd come home for holidays, he'd be there physically, but absent on his phone, distracted. We'd have stilted conversations about nothing. How's work? Fine. Yours? Good. How's the startup? Same. That was it. That was our relationship for the past 9 years. I stopped trying around year 5, figured he'd outgrown me, found his own life, didn't need a little sister anymore. Mom said, Michael loves you, he's just focused on work. But it felt like he'd erased me, like I was an obligation, a box to check at Christmas and Thanksgiving. So when the hospital called March 3rd, 2024, 11:47 p.m., and said Michael had been in an accident, my first thought wasn't my brother needs me. It was, I should call Mom, because Michael and I weren't the kind of siblings who were each other's emergency contacts anymore. The funeral was small. His coworkers came, a few college friends, Mom, me. No girlfriend, no best friend, no one who seemed to really know him. His boss gave a eulogy. Michael was dedicated, hardworking, quiet, kept to himself, but always reliable. Reliable. That was the word people kept using. Reliable, dependable, steady. Not kind, not funny, not beloved, just reliable. I cried at the funeral because you're supposed to cry when your brother dies, but honestly, I was crying for the brother I'd lost years ago, the one who'd stopped being mine when I was 19. After the service, the apartment, Mom couldn't handle it. Sarah, can you take care of his things? I can't go in there. So I went alone, small one bedroom in a shitty part of Seattle, rent probably $1,200 for maybe 600 square feet, peeling paint, broken blinds, radiator that clanked. Michael made good money. I knew that. He was a senior developer, 6 figures easily. So why was he living here? I started packing his things, clothes, mostly old, worn, no designer anything, furniture from IKEA, 10 years old, scratched, functional but not nice. Kitchen bare minimum. One pot, one pan, 4 plates, like he never entertained, never had anyone over. It made me sadder than the funeral, this lonely apartment, this small life. I found his laptop, locked, tried his birthday, nothing. Tried mine, nothing. Went through his desk, bills all paid, utilities, rent, car insurance, and then the shoebox under his bed, dusty, taped shut. I opened it, bank statements, printed out, organized by year, 2018 through 2024. Every month, highlighted in yellow, Same transaction. Transfer to South $2,000. I flipped through them. January 2018, February, March. Every single month for 6 years. $2,000 x 12 months x 6 years equals sign $144,000. Who the fuck is Esh? I grabbed my laptop, logged into my CPA databases, tried to trace the account number. Dead end, private account, no business license, no public record. I called the bank. I'm Sarah Brennan. My brother Michael Brennan recently passed away. I'm handling his estate. I need information about a recurring transfer he made. They pulled his records. Yes, I see monthly transfers to an account ending in 4,739. I can't disclose the recipient's identity without a court order. Can you tell me what kind of account it is? Business? Personal? It appears to be registered to a medical facility.
Medical facility.
My stomach dropped. Was Michael sick? Did he have cancer? Some chronic illness he never told us about? I hung up, Googled the account number. Nothing. Then I remembered his phone. I found it in his nightstand, cracked screen, still had battery. Unlocked with his thumbprint, I'd set it up for him years ago when he complained about forgetting passwords. Opened his email, searched Esh, hundreds of results. Subject lines: appointment confirmation, March 15th, 2024. Prescription refill, sertraline. Payment received, thank you. Monthly statement, February 2024. I clicked the most recent one. From Sunrise Hope Counseling Center to Michael Brennan. Dear Michael, this confirms your payment of $2,000 for continued monthly services. As always, we appreciate your commitment to SB's ongoing treatment. Dr. Wilson will continue her sessions as scheduled. Thank you for making this possible. SB, Sarah Brennan. Me, I dropped the phone. Sunrise Hope Counseling Center. I Googled it. Seattle mental health facility, specializes in depression, anxiety, suicide prevention. And my brother had been paying them $2,000 a month for 6 years. For me, but I didn't go to therapy. I'd never been to Sunrise Hope. Never even heard of it. I called them, hands shaking. Sunrise Hope, this is Emily speaking. Hi, my name is Sarah Brennan. I think my brother has been paying for services there. Michael Brennan. Silence. Then, oh, Sarah, I'm so sorry for your loss. We heard about Michael. We're devastated. I don't understand. He was paying for my therapy, but I don't go there. Sarah, can you hold, please? Music, 3 minutes. Then a new voice, older, gentle. Sarah, this is Dr. Wilson. I'm so sorry about Michael. He was an extraordinary person. Dr. Wilson, I'm confused. Michael was paying you for my therapy, but I've never been there. Sarah, you were here 2017 through 2023, twice a week for the first 3 years, once a week for the last 3. My vision blurred. That's not possible. I would remember. You checked yourself in October 2017. You were 19. You'd attempted suicide in your dorm room at UW. Your roommate found you, called 911. You spent a week in psychiatric hold. Then you came to us. The room was spinning. October 2017, freshman year. I remembered being sad, overwhelmed, struggling with classes, feeling alone, but I didn't remember attempting suicide. Didn't remember a hospital. Didn't remember therapy. Dr. Wilson, I don't remember any of this. That's not uncommon with trauma, Sarah. Your mind protected you, but you were very sick. Severe depression, suicidal ideation. You needed intensive treatment. And Michael paid for it every month, $2,000. You thought it was covered by a scholarship. That's what Michael told you to tell yourself. But it was him. He covered everything. Therapy, medication, group sessions, for 6 years. I couldn't breathe. Why didn't he tell me? He said you'd feel guilty, that you'd drop out of treatment if you knew it was costing him. So he made us promise we could never tell you. It was a scholarship. That's all you could know. I hung up, sat on Michael's floor, his shitty, cramped apartment floor, and I understood Michael wasn't distant because he didn't care. He was distant because he was working every extra hour, every weekend, every promotion he could chase. To pay for me, to keep me alive. $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year. On a tech salary, that's doable but tight, especially in Seattle. So he lived here in this crappy apartment, drove a 15-year-old Honda, ate ramen, never went on vacation, never bought nice things. Because I needed therapy more than he needed comfort. And I thought he was cold, thought he didn't care, thought he'd outgrown me. I grabbed the bank statements again, looked closer. October 2017. First transfer $2,000. But before that, September 2017, a different transaction. Wit etched draw, $15,000, and attached a handwritten note in the margin. Michael's handwriting. Initial deposit, Sunrise Hope intake fee plus first 3 months, worth it. $15,000 upfront. I checked his account balance, September 2017, $18,000 total. He'd given them almost everything he had. For me, for a sister who thought he didn't care. I couldn't stop crying. I found more emails. From Michael to Dr. Wilson, November 2017. Dr. Wilson, Sarah asked why I haven't visited in a while. I told her I'm busy with work. Truth is I can't afford gas money this month. Rent was late, but her sessions are paid through January. That's what matters. Don't tell her. From Michael to Dr. Wilson, April 2019. I got promoted. Senior developer, $130K salary. I can increase Sarah's sessions if you think she needs it. Whatever helps. From Michael to Dr. Wilson, December 2022. Sarah seems better, really better. She's talking about the future, about graduating, about wanting to work in finance. I think it's working. Thank you for saving my sister. December 2022. I'd graduated college that month, got my CPA certification, started my first job, and Michael had written, "Thank you for saving my sister," like he wasn't the one who saved me. Like Dr. Wilson did it alone. But Dr. Wilson didn't pay. Michael did. Michael worked 80-hour weeks, lived in squalor, gave up dating, hobbies, life. So I could live. I found his closet, opened it. 4 pairs of jeans, 10 t-shirts, 2 button-downs for work, 1 suit for funerals, apparently. That was it. That was his wardrobe. Because clothing budget went to my therapy, I found his fridge, mostly empty, condiments, eggs, bread, PB&J supplies. Because grocery budget went to my therapy, I found a folder labeled Aldmos College, inside printed emails from my university, my grades, my acceptance to the CPA program, scholarship notifications, real ones, not the fake therapy one. He'd been tracking my life, celebrating my wins, privately, quietly, never telling me, never asking for credit, just loving me from a distance, in the only way he could afford. I found one more thing, a letter, unsealed, on his desk, dated March 1st, 2024, 2 days before he died. Dear Sarah, if you're reading this, I'm gone. Car accident, probably. I drive too fast when I'm tired. I need to tell you something. For 6 years, I paid for your therapy. You thought it was a scholarship. It wasn't, it was me. You tried to kill yourself in 2017. You don't remember. That's okay. Your brain protected you. But I remember. I remember the call from UW. Your sister is in the hospital. Overdose. She might not make it.
You made it. Thank God you made it.
But you needed help. Real help. Sunrise Hope said they could save you, but insurance wouldn't cover it. $2,000 slow month out of pocket. I didn't have $2,000 slash month. I had rent and car payments and student loans, but I couldn't let you die. So I worked more, lived smaller, cut everything that wasn't essential. You were essential. I know we're not close anymore. I know you think I don't care, but Sarah, I care so much it hurts. I care so much I gave up everything else to make sure you'd be okay. You don't owe me anything. You never did. You don't need to thank me. You don't need to feel guilty. You just need to live, keep living, build your career, fall in love, have kids, be happy. That's all I ever wanted, for you to be happy. If I'm dead and you're reading this, please know I don't regret a single dollar, a single sacrifice. You were worth it. You are worth it. I love you, little sister. I always have, even when I couldn't show it the way you needed. Keep living for both of us now. Michael, I collapsed right there on his apartment floor, sobbed until I couldn't breathe, because my brother loved me more than I ever knew. And I'd spent 9 years thinking he didn't care. He died thinking I thought he was cold, distant, uninterested. He died never hearing me say thank you, never hearing me say I love you too, never knowing that I see him now. I see everything he did, everything he gave up, and I can never tell him. The funeral had been 3 weeks ago. Small service, generic eulogy from his boss about being reliable. I'd sat in the front row next to Mom, dry-eyed mostly, sad but disconnected. Because the Michael they were eulogizing wasn't the Michael I'd grown up with. He was this stranger, this workaholic who never called, never visited, never seemed to care. But now, sitting on his apartment floor, holding his letter, I understood every missed call wasn't because he didn't want to talk to me. It was because he was working a double shift to cover my therapy. Every canceled visit wasn't because he'd outgrown me. It was because he couldn't afford the gas to drive home. Every distant conversation wasn't because he didn't love me. It was because he was exhausted from sacrificing everything to keep me alive. And I judged him for it, resented him, thought he was selfish. I stood up, looked around the apartment with new eyes. The peeling paint wasn't neglect, it was choice. He could have moved somewhere nicer, but that would have cost $500 more per month. That's a quarter of my therapy. The IKEA furniture wasn't laziness, it was practicality. Why buy expensive furniture when Sarah needs medication? The empty fridge wasn't depression, it was budgeting. Ramen costs 50 cents. My therapy costs $2,000. Every single thing in this apartment was a choice, a sacrifice, a prioritization. And the priority was always me. I went back to his desk, found his work laptop, opened it, password protected, tried a few combinations, then tried my birthday. It unlocked. Of course it did. His desktop background was a photo. Me and him must have been 15 years ago. I was 9. He was 13. We're at the beach, building a sandcastle, both grinning at the camera. I'd forgotten that day. Forgotten we used to be happy together, but he hadn't. He'd looked at that photo every single day for who knows how long. I opened his documents folder, found a subfolder, Sarah, inside spreadsheets, financial projections, budgets, Sarah Therapy Fund 2018 to 2024 projection. I opened it. Month by month breakdown, income, expenses, how much he could allocate to my therapy while still making rent. He'd planned this down to the dollar. January 2018, income $5,200, rent $1,200, utilities $150, food $200, car $180, insurance $100, student loans $400, remaining $2,970, therapy $2,000, personal $970, $970 per month for everything else, gas, clothing, entertainment, emergencies. He'd lived on less than $1,000 a month while making $62,000 a year, because $24,000 of that went to me. I scrolled through the years, watched his income increase with promotions, watched his personal budget stay exactly the same. 2022, income $11,000 last month, personal budget still $970. Where did the extra money go? I found another spreadsheet, emergency Sarah, a savings account, just for me, in case I needed something, in case my therapy costs increased, in case insurance still wouldn't cover it after I graduated. $47,000 in that account, just sitting there, untouched, waiting to save me if I needed saving again. Michael had been making over $130,000 a year and living like he made $30,000. So I could have $50,000 in emergency therapy funds I didn't even know existed. I found his browser history, recent searches, how to tell your sister you love her when you haven't talked in years, rebuilding relationship with distant sibling. Is it too late to reconnect with family? Dated February 2024, 1 month before he died. He'd been planning to reach out, to tell me, to reconnect. And then he died. 1 month too soon? I found his text messages, drafts folder, to Sarah. Never sent draft from February 14th, 2024. Hey Sarah, I know we haven't talked much lately. I'm sorry for being distant. There's something I need to tell you. Can we get coffee sometime? Never sent, just saved in drafts. To Sarah, never sent draft from February 28th, 2024. Sarah, I love you. I know I haven't said it in years, but I do. And I need you to know that everything I've done has been for you. Can we talk? Never sent.
To Sarah.
Never sent draft from March 2nd, 2024. Sarah, this is hard to write, but I've been paying for your therapy since 2017. You almost died that year. You don't remember, but I do. And I couldn't let you go. I'm sorry I lied about the scholarship. I'm sorry I've been distant. I just needed you to be okay. And you are. You're thriving. And I'm so proud of you. Can we please talk? Never sent. Saved March 2nd. He died March 3rd. He'd been writing that text the day before he died, planning to send it, planning to tell me everything. And then the accident, and now he's gone. And all these words he wanted to say are just trapped in draft messages I'll never receive. I scrolled through his photos, thousands of them, pictures I didn't know he'd taken, me at my college graduation, me at my CPA certification ceremony, me at coffee shops, walking to work, living my life. He'd been there in the background, watching, documenting, celebrating, never approaching, never interrupting, just witnessing my life from a distance. Because that's all he could afford to do emotionally, financially, time-wise. He'd given me everything and kept only the shadows for himself. I found a journal, handwritten, hidden under his mattress. I opened it, October 15th, 2017. Sarah tried to kill herself today. Pills. Her roommate found her. Hospital called. They said she might not make it. I drove 90 miles per hour to Seattle, ran every red light, didn't care if I crashed, just needed to get to her. She was unconscious when I arrived. Tubes everywhere. Monitors beeping. The doctor said, "We got her in time. She'll live, but she needs intensive psychiatric care. Her depression is severe. She'll need therapy, medication, support." I said, "Whatever she needs, I'll pay for it." He said, "Insurance might not cover intensive outpatient. You're looking at $2,000 per month minimum." I said, "I'll pay for it." Because what else was I supposed to say? Sorry, can't afford it. Let her die. She's my little sister. My only sister. The person I taught to ride a bike. I'm not letting her go. October 20th, 2017. Sarah woke up today, confused. Didn't remember taking the pills. Didn't remember wanting to die. The psychiatrist said that's common. Dissociative amnesia. Her brain protecting her from the trauma. I didn't tell her what happened. The doctor said it's better if she doesn't know right now. Too much shame, too much guilt. It might make her worse. So I'm lying to her, telling her she had a bad reaction to cold medicine, telling her she fainted, telling her everything's fine. It's not fine, but I'll make it fine. Sunrise Hope accepted her, starts therapy Monday, $2,000 on month. I have $18,000 in savings. That's 9 months. After that, I don't know. I'll figure it out. I withdrew $15,000 today, initial deposit, first 3 months covered. I have $3,000 left. Rent is due. I'll figure it out. November 3rd, 2017. Rent was late. Landlord threatened eviction. I begged for an extension, told him my sister is sick. He gave me until the 15th. Picked up extra shifts, worked 90 hours this week. I'm so tired, but Sarah's therapy is working. Dr. Wilson says she's responding well, opening up, processing. That's all that matters. December 25th, 2017. Christmas, Sarah came home. She looks better, clearer. She hugged mom, smiled. She asked why I look so tired. I said work is busy. I didn't tell her I've been working 80-hour weeks to pay for therapy she doesn't know she's getting. She gave me a Christmas present, a book, because you love reading but never buy books for yourself anymore. I haven't bought a book in 4 months because book money is therapy money, but she doesn't know that. She just thinks I'm busy. I hugged her, told her I love her. She said, "Love you too?" It's been so long since she said that. Worth it. All of it. Worth it. I couldn't read anymore. My hands were shaking too hard. Every page was the same. Michael working himself to exhaustion, sacrificing sleep, meals, comfort, happiness. For me, and I'd never known, never suspected, never appreciated. I just thought he was a workaholic, thought he'd chosen his career over family, but he'd chosen me every single day for 6 years. I closed the journal, put it back under the mattress where he'd hidden it, because that's what Michael did. He hid his sacrifices, made them invisible, didn't want credit, didn't want gratitude, just wanted me alive. I walked out of the apartment, locked the door, sat in my car, and I screamed, just screamed until my throat hurt, because my brother loved me more than anyone ever has or ever will, and I'll never get to tell him I know. Never get to say thank you. Never get to hug him and say, "I'm sorry I thought you didn't care. I'm sorry I resented you. I'm sorry I didn't see what you were doing." He's just gone, and all that love is buried with him. I went to Michael's office the next day. Tech Core Solutions, downtown Seattle, 23rd floor, glass walls, open floor plan, the kind of startup that has kombucha on tap and beanbag chairs in meeting rooms. I'd never been here. Michael never invited me. I'd assumed he was embarrassed of me or just didn't want his work life and family life to mix. Now I knew better. He was protecting me from seeing how hard he worked, how much he sacrificed. The receptionist looked up. "Can I help you?" "I'm Sarah Brennan, Michael Brennan's sister. I'm here to, I need to collect his personal items." Her face fell. Oh God, we heard about Michael. I'm so sorry. He was really special. Special, not reliable, not dedicated. Special. Thank you. Is there someone I can talk to? His manager? She nodded, picked up the phone. "David, Michael's sister is here." 2 minutes later, a guy appeared, mid-30s, kind eyes, tired looking. "Sarah? I'm David Park. I was Michael's team lead. I'm so sorry for your loss. Michael was, honestly, he was one of the best developers I've ever worked with." We went to a conference room. David brought coffee. I didn't drink it. "Sarah, I know this is hard, but I wanted you to know Michael talked about you a lot." That surprised me. He did. All the time. He was so proud of you. When you graduated college, he came in that Monday and showed everyone your photo. When you got your CPA certification, he literally printed out the announcement and hung it in his cubicle. He did? Yeah. He'd say, "That's my sister. Smartest person I know. She's going to run her own firm someday." Tears were already forming. I didn't know. David looked down. Michael kept a lot to himself. But he loved you. That was obvious to everyone here. Can I ask you something? Did Michael ever, I don't know, did he ever come to company events? Happy hours? Team dinners? David shook his head. Never. We invited him every time, but he'd always say, "Can't make it. Got stuff to do." After a while, we stopped inviting him. Figured he just wasn't social. Did he ever talk about why?
No, but David hesitated. This might be overstepping, but I noticed things. Michael brought the same lunch every day. Peanut butter sandwich, an apple. That's it, for 6 years.
Every day? Every single day when we'd order pizza for the team, he'd take one slice, just one. We'd tell him to take more. He'd say he wasn't that hungry, but I could tell he was. He just wouldn't take more than one slice. My throat tightened. "And his clothes," David continued. "Same rotation, same 5 shirts, same 2 pairs of pants. For years. We do casual Fridays, People come in with new sneakers, band t-shirts, whatever. Michael always wore the same thing. Did you ever ask him about it? Once I said, Mike, you make 6 figures, buy yourself something nice. He just laughed and said, I'm saving for something important. Something important. Me. I was the something important. David, did Michael ever date anyone? Have a girlfriend? David's face shifted, uncomfortable. What? I pressed. There was someone, maybe 3 years ago. I never met her, but Michael mentioned going on a date. Just once. We all got excited. Like, finally, Mike's putting himself out there.
What happened?
I don't know. He never mentioned her again. One of the guys asked about it a few weeks later. Michael just said, didn't work out. Did he say why? No, but I got the impression it wasn't that she rejected him. It was that he stopped pursuing it because he couldn't afford it, couldn't afford to take her on dates, couldn't afford to build a relationship when every dollar was going to me. Can I see his desk? I asked. David led me to a cubicle, small, neat, no personal items except one thing, a framed photo of me, my college graduation, cap and gown, smiling. He'd been there that day. I remembered seeing him in the crowd. He'd waved, left right after the ceremony, said he had to get back to work. I'd been annoyed, thought he couldn't even spare a few hours for my graduation. But now I saw the frame, expensive, silver, the kind you buy when you really treasure a photo. He'd left early to get back to work so he could pay for the therapy that kept me stable enough to graduate in the first place. In his desk drawer, office supplies, sticky notes, pens, and a folded piece of paper, worn, like it had been unfolded and refolded hundreds of times. I opened it, a printout, a quote. The greatest gift you can give someone is your time, because when you give your time, you're giving a portion of your life that you'll never get back. Below it, in Michael's handwriting, for Sarah, every hour. Worth it. I folded it back up, put it in my pocket. David was watching me. Michael was a good man, Sarah. I hope you know that. I'm starting to. Back at Michael's apartment, I kept searching, found his laptop bag, inside work files, a charger, and a small notebook. I opened it, lists, to-do lists, but not work stuff. Things to do when Sarah is better. Take her to that sushi place she always wanted to try. Road trip to Portland. Teach her to change a tire. She still doesn't know. Tell her about the therapy. Apologize for being distant. Ask if she forgives me. Things he'd been planning to do after I was better, after therapy worked, after he could afford to have a relationship with me again. Except he never got to do any of it. I turned the page. Things I want but don't need. New laptop. Mine is 8 years old, but still works. Guitar used to play, miss it. Vacation, haven't left Seattle in 6 years. Nice dinner, not PB&J. Date someone maybe when Sarah's therapy is done. Tell Sarah the truth. A wish list of normal things. Things anyone would want. Things he denied himself because I needed therapy more than he needed a guitar. I found his closet again. Looked more carefully this time. In the back, behind the 4 pairs of jeans, a garment bag. I unzipped it. A suit, expensive, tailored, tag still on. $800. Why did Michael have an $800 suit he'd never worn? I checked the purchase date on the receipt pinned inside, December 2019. I Googled December 2019 Michael Brennan, found a LinkedIn post from his company. Congratulations to Michael Brennan for winning TechCore's Developer of the Year award. Michael will be honored at our annual gala on December 15th. Developer of the Year, that's huge. That's career making. There were photos from the gala. I found them on the company website. Everyone in suits, tuxedos, dresses, fancy event, speeches, awards. I scrolled through photos, looking for Michael. He wasn't there. He'd won Developer of the Year and didn't attend his own award ceremony. I called David Park. David, it's Sarah. Quick question. The December 2019 gala. Michael won Developer of the Year, but I can't find photos of him there. Oh, yeah, he didn't come. Why not? He said he was sick, but between you and me, I think he just didn't want to go. The gala had a $150 ticket fee. Employees had to pay their own way. Michael probably didn't want to spend the money. $150, the cost of attending his own award ceremony. He'd bought the suit, been planning to go, then looked at his budget and realized $150 was most of a therapy session. So he'd skipped it, left the suit in the closet, never worn, because I was more important than his career milestone. I hung up, sat on his bed, and I hated myself, hated that I'd been so blind, so ungrateful, so unaware. While I was living my life, going to college, getting my degree, starting my career, Michael was erasing his own life to make room for mine. I found his bathroom, opened the medicine cabinet. Tylenol, Tums, one prescription bottle, sertraline, 50 milligrams, prescribed to Michael Brennan. Sertraline, an antidepressant. The same medication I'd been on, according to Dr. Wilson's emails. Michael had depression too, and he was treating it. I checked the prescription date, March 2020. 4 years he'd been on antidepressants, and he'd never told anyone, because that would have required him to be vulnerable, to admit he was struggling, to take attention away from me. So he'd suffered quietly, took his pills, kept working, kept sacrificing. I found his phone again, went through his apps, dating apps. 3 of them, Tinder, Hinge, Bumble. I opened Tinder. His profile was still active. Photos of Michael, smiling, outdoorsy shots. One of him at a coffee shop. His bio: software developer, loves hiking, reading, terrible movies, looking for someone who doesn't take life too seriously. He'd gotten matches, lots of them. I checked his messages. From Jessica, November 2021. Hey, your profile made me laugh. Want to grab coffee sometime? Michael's response. Hey Jessica, thanks for reaching out. I'm actually pretty busy with work right now. Maybe some other time. From Amanda, February 2022. Hi Michael, we matched a while ago. Still want to meet up? Michael's response. Hi Amanda, sorry for the delay. I don't think I'm in a place to date right now. Good luck out there. From Rachel, June 2022. Michael, you seem really sweet. If you're free this weekend, I'd love to get dinner. Michael's response. Rachel, you seem great, but I can't commit to dating right now. I hope you understand. Over and over, matches, interested women, opportunities for connection. And Michael turning them all down. Because dating costs money, dinners, movies, drinks, gas, and every dollar spent on a date was a dollar not spent on me. I found one conversation that went further. From Melissa, September 2022. Hey Michael, I saw your profile. We have a lot in common. Want to meet up for coffee? My treat. Michael. Hi Melissa. I'd like that. They'd exchanged numbers, planned to meet. Then the day before the date, Michael. Melissa, I'm really sorry. Something came up. I can't make it tomorrow. Melissa. No worries. Want to reschedule? Michael. I don't think that's a good idea. I have a lot going on right now. You deserve someone who can give you their full attention. Melissa. Michael, are you okay? You sound stressed. Michael. I'm fine. Just dealing with family stuff. I'm sorry. Family stuff. Me. I was the family stuff. He'd been about to go on a date, maybe start a relationship, build a life, and then he'd looked at his budget, realized he couldn't afford to split his attention, couldn't afford to care about someone else when he was barely keeping me afloat. So he'd canceled, made up an excuse, went back to being alone. For me, I put the phone down, couldn't look at it anymore. My brother had been lonely, depressed, working himself to exhaustion. And every time someone reached out, offered friendship, romance, connection, he'd said no, because saying yes meant taking resources from me. I found his computer again, opened his browser bookmarks. One folder, Sarah. Inside, links to my social media, my LinkedIn, my company website, articles I'd been quoted in for work. He'd been following my life online, tracking my success, celebrating from a distance. Never commenting, never liking, just watching, witnessing, being proud quietly. I found his purchase history, Amazon, Last 6 years. Books. For work. For learning. Nothing recreational. Groceries. Same items every month. Peanut butter, bread, eggs, rice. One purchase stood out. December 2023. A guitar? $400. Finally, he'd bought himself something. I searched his apartment. No guitar. Checked the order details. Delivery confirmed. December 10th, 2023. Where was it? I called the apartment manager. Hi, this is Sarah Brennan. I'm clearing out my brother Michael's apartment, unit 304. Did he have a storage unit or anything? No storage unit, but actually, yeah. There's a box in the mailroom. Been there for months. It's addressed to him. We kept asking him to pick it up. He never did. I went to the mailroom, found the box, large, guitar-sized, unopened. He'd ordered it, had it delivered, then never opened it. Why? I brought it back to his apartment, a beautiful acoustic guitar, mahogany, the kind he used to play when we were kids, and a note in his handwriting taped to the case. December 10th, 2023, I ordered this for myself. Finally, after 6 years, Sarah's therapy is almost done. She's doing so well. She's stable, happy. I can afford this now, but I can't open it. Because what if I'm wrong? What if she relapses? What if she needs more sessions? What if the $400 I spent on this guitar is the $400 that could have saved her? So I'm keeping it sealed, just in case. Maybe next year. Next year never came. He died 3 months later with a guitar he'd finally let himself buy but was too afraid to open. Because even when he could afford it, he couldn't let himself have it. Because I might need it more. I sat on his floor, holding the guitar, crying so hard I thought I'd break. My brother had been so devoted to saving me that he'd forgotten to save himself. If you're listening to this and you have a sibling, call them right now. Tell them you love them. Tell them you see them, because I can't anymore. And I'd give anything to have one more conversation with Michael. Subscribe to this channel if stories about love and sacrifice and the people who give everything matter to you, because these stories need to be told. I've found one more thing. In his desk, bottom drawer, a folder labeled Important Do Not Throw Away. Inside, medical records from 2017. University of Washington Medical Center, psychiatric ward. Patient, Sarah Brennan. Admission date, October 12, 2017. Diagnosis, major depressive disorder. Suicide attempt via intentional overdose. Treatment plan. Psychiatric hold followed by intensive outpatient therapy. Emergency contact Michael Brennan, brother. There were notes from the doctor who treated me. Patient presented unconscious, overdose of approximately 40 Tylenol tablets. Suicide note found at scene. Roommate discovered patient and called 911. Patient was unresponsive on arrival. Suicide note. I didn't remember writing a suicide note. I flipped through the records, looking for it, and there, clipped to the back, a photocopy of my handwriting. I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. College is too hard. Life is too hard. I'm not strong enough. Mom, I love you. I'm sorry. I'm not the daughter you wanted. Michael, I'm sorry. This isn't your fault. You've been a good brother. I'm just broken. Please don't blame yourselves. This is my choice. I'm tired, and I just want to stop being tired. I love you both. Sarah, I stared at those words. My words from 7 years ago. Words I didn't remember writing, but I must have, because that was my handwriting. Michael, this isn't your fault. But he'd blamed himself anyway. I could see it now, in everything he'd done. He'd read those words, "This isn't your fault," and decided it was his fault, that if I wanted to die, it meant he'd failed me as a brother. So he'd spent the next 6 years trying to fix it, trying to prove he wouldn't fail me again, working himself to death, giving up everything, living in poverty while making 6 figures, all to undo the guilt of a suicide attempt. I didn't even remember. At the bottom of the folder, one more note, handwritten, Michael's writing, dated October 13th, 2017. Sarah tried to die yesterday. The doctor showed me her suicide note. This isn't your fault, she wrote. But it is my fault. I'm her older brother. I'm supposed to protect her. And I didn't even know she was struggling. I was so focused on work, on my career, on my own life. I didn't call her enough, didn't visit, didn't check in. And she almost died thinking I didn't care. I'm never making that mistake again. From now on, Sarah comes first, always, before work, before money, before my own life. Whatever it takes to keep her alive, I'll do it. She wrote, "This isn't your fault, but I'm making it my responsibility anyway. I'm going to save her, even if it costs me everything." It did cost him everything. His money, his career milestones, his relationships, his happiness, his health, his life. He gave it all for me, and I never knew. I folded the note, put it back in the folder, and I realized something. Michael didn't just save my life by paying for therapy. He saved my life by carrying the weight of my suicide attempt so I wouldn't have to. He took my guilt, my shame, my burden, and he made it his. So I could move forward, unburdened, free, while he stayed behind, weighted down, sacrificing. That's love. Real love. Not the kind that gets celebrated. Not the kind that gets thanked. The kind that happens in silence, in shadows, in bank statements and unopened guitars and canceled dates. The kind that says, your life matters more than mine, and I'll prove it every single day until I die. Michael proved it for 6 years. And then he died, never hearing me say, I understood, never knowing I finally saw what he'd done. Just gone. Like he'd never been here, except he was everywhere. In my college degree, in my career, in my stability, in my life. I exist because Michael chose not to fully live, and I don't know how to carry that. I found Michael's journal again, the one under his mattress. I'd only read the first few months, October through December 2017. Couldn't handle more. But now I needed to know, needed to see the full 6 years, needed to understand the brother I'd lost. I flipped to the end, the last entry, March 3rd, 2024, the day he died. His handwriting was rushed, scribbled like he'd written it in the morning before work. March 3rd, 2024, 6:47 a.m. I'm going to tell her today. I've been drafting the text for weeks, deleting it, rewriting it, too scared to send. But Sarah's therapy ended last month. Dr. Wilson says she's stable, thriving, the healthiest she's been in 7 years, which means I don't have an excuse anymore. I've been hiding behind she needs me to stay distant so I can afford her treatment, but treatment's done. The emergency fund is fully stocked. She doesn't need my money anymore. So what's my excuse now? The truth is, I'm terrified. Terrified she'll hate me for lying, for the fake scholarship, for being distant, for letting her think I didn't care. But I can't keep living like this, at arm's length from the person I love most. So tonight, after work, I'm going to text her, ask her to coffee, tell her everything, tell her about the therapy payments, the sacrifice, the reason I've been distant. And maybe, God, I hope, maybe she'll understand. Maybe she'll forgive me. Maybe we can be siblings again, the way we were when we were kids. I miss her. I miss us. Tonight. I'm telling her tonight. The entry ended there. He never made it to tonight. The accident happened at 6:14 p.m. on his way home from work. Some asshole ran a red light, T-boned Michael's car, driver's side. Michael died instantly, they said, which means his last thought was probably about me, about the conversation he was going to have, about finally telling me the truth. And he never got to, because some stranger couldn't wait 30 seconds for a green light. I closed the journal, put it down carefully, like it might shatter, and I made a decision. I called Dr. Wilson. Dr. Wilson, this is Sarah Brennan, Michael's sister. Can I come see you? Of course, Sarah. When? Now, if that's okay, I need to talk to you. An hour later, I was sitting in her office, same office where I'd apparently spent 6 years of my life and didn't remember. Dr. Wilson was exactly as I'd imagined from her voice, 60-something, kind eyes, the kind of therapist who actually cares. Sarah, I'm so glad you reached out. How are you doing? I'm not okay, but I need to understand something. You treated me for 6 years. You watched Michael sacrifice everything. Why didn't you tell me? She sighed. Sarah, I wanted to so many times, but Michael made me promise. He said if you knew you'd stop coming, that you'd feel too guilty to accept help.
He was right. I would have.
I know that's why I kept his secret, even though it killed me watching him destroy himself to save you. Did he did he ever talk about himself, his own struggles? Sometimes he started therapy with me too, about 2 years into your treatment. He was depressed, burned out, isolating. I told him he needed to take care of himself. He said, I'll take care of myself when Sarah's better. Did he ever get better? No. He got worse. The longer he sacrificed, the harder it became to stop. It was like he built his entire identity around saving you. And if he stopped, if he started living for himself, he didn't know who he'd be anymore. I felt sick. So I didn't just take his money, I took his sense of self. Sarah, no. Michael chose this. You didn't ask him to. You didn't even know. He made these choices because he loved you. But yes, they cost him everything. How do I live with that? She leaned forward. You live the life he wanted for you. You build a career. You fall in love. You have children. You be happy. That's what he wanted. That's what he died trying to give you. But he's not here to see it.
No, but you are. And every day you live well, you honor him. Every day you choose happiness, you prove his sacrifice wasn't in vain.
I wiped my eyes. There's an emergency fund, $47,000. He saved it for me, in case I needed more therapy. But I don't need it now. What do I do with it? Dr. Wilson smiled, sad but genuine. What do you think Michael would want you to do with it? I knew the answer immediately. Help someone else, someone like me, someone who can't afford therapy. Then do that. I left Dr. Wilson's office with a plan. The Michael Brennan Foundation, a fund for young adults who need mental health treatment but can't afford it, covering therapy costs, medication, support groups. Everything Michael had paid for me, I'd pay for others. I'd start with his $47,000, and I'd add to it every year, every bonus, every raise. I'd make Michael's sacrifice matter beyond just me. But first, I needed to do something else. I went back to TechCore, asked David if I could speak at a company meeting. He arranged it. The whole development team, 30 people, the people Michael worked with for 6 years. I stood in front of them, held Michael's journal. I'm Sarah, Michael's sister. Most of you probably didn't know he had a sister. He didn't talk about me much. The few heads nodded. I want to tell you why. I told them everything. The suicide attempt I didn't remember, the therapy I thought was a scholarship, the 6 years of payments, the $144,000, the unopened guitar, the canceled dates, the Developer of the Year award he skipped. By the end, half the room was crying. David stood up. Sarah, we had no idea. We thought we thought he didn't want to connect. We stopped inviting him to things because he always said no. He said no because he couldn't afford to say yes. Every dollar he spent on himself was a dollar he couldn't spend on me. A woman in the back raised her hand. Amy, Michael's cubicle neighbor. Sarah, I need to tell you something. Michael's car, the one he died in. It was a 2009 Honda Civic, 15 years old. Barely ran. We'd joke about it. Tell him to upgrade. He'd just laugh and say, she's got life in her yet. I know. I saw it. What you don't know is that 3 weeks before he died, his car broke down, transmission failure. The repair shop quoted him $3,200 to fix it. My stomach dropped. What did he do? He declined the repair, said he'd fix it himself, watched YouTube videos, bought used parts, spent 2 weeks in the parking garage after work trying to rebuild the transmission with no experience. Did he fix it? Barely. It worked. Kind of. But it wasn't safe. The shop told him that. We told him that. He said he couldn't afford a new car or a proper repair right now, that he had other financial priorities. Other financial priorities, the emergency fund for me. Amy, are you saying the car that killed him was unsafe because he couldn't afford to fix it properly? She nodded, tears streaming. Sarah, if Michael had just paid for the repair, if he'd prioritized his own safety for once, he might still be alive. The room was silent. Michael had died because he chose to save money instead of fixing his car. Chose to put $3,200 into my emergency fund instead of into his own safety. Chose me over himself. One last time. And it killed him. I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. David walked over, put his hand on my shoulder. Sarah, this isn't your fault. Michael made his choices. You didn't know. But if I had known, you would have stopped him. I know. We all know. But you didn't know. And that's what Michael wanted. He wanted you to be free of guilt so you could live. And now he's dead and I'm drowning in guilt anyway. So don't drown. Swim. Live. Be the person he died believing you could be. If this story is breaking your heart, it should. Because there are people in your life right now, siblings, parents, friends, who are sacrificing for you in ways you don't see. Call them. Thank them before it's too late. Before you're standing in front of their coworkers wishing you'd said something while they were alive. I spent the next week planning the Michael Brennan Mental Health Fund, a 501c3 registered official mission statement to provide financial assistance for mental health treatment to young adults who cannot afford it, in memory of Michael Brennan, who believed everyone deserves to live. They seeded it with the $47,000, set up monthly donations from my paycheck, reached out to Michael's coworkers. Half of them donated. Within 2 months, we'd raised $80,000. Within 6 months, we'd covered therapy costs for 12 people who would have gone untreated, who might have ended up like I did in 2017, suicidal, desperate, alone. But now they had help, because Michael had helped me first. Every time I approved a grant, I thought, this is Michael's money, Michael's sacrifice, Michael's love, extending beyond his death. He'd saved me. Now I was helping him save others. It didn't bring him back, didn't ease the guilt, didn't make me miss him less. But it made his death mean something. I visited his grave for the first time in July, 4 months after the funeral. I'd been avoiding it, couldn't face it, but I needed to now. Small headstone. Simple. Mikhail James Brennan, 1996 to 2024. Beloved son and brother, beloved brother. That's what it said. But I hadn't been a good sister, hadn't even known how much he loved me. I sat on the grass, talked to him like he could hear me. Michael, I found everything. The bank statements, the journal, the guitar, the emergency fund, the suicide note I don't remember writing. The wind picked up, rustled the trees. I know what you did. All of it. Every sacrifice, every choice, every dollar. Birds chirping, distant traffic, but no response, because he was gone. I started a foundation. In your name. We're helping people the way you helped me. I pulled out my phone, showed him the website, like he could see it. 12 people so far, 12 people who are alive and getting treatment because of you. I wiped my eyes. I got promoted at work. Senior accountant. They're talking about making me a partner in a few years. I'm doing well, Michael. I'm thriving. Like you wanted, a plane overhead, contrails in the blue sky. I met someone. His name is Daniel. He's kind, patient. He knows about you, about what you did. He says he can't imagine loving someone that much, but I can, because you showed me what that looks like. I traced Michael's name on the headstone, cold marble under my fingers. I wish you were here to meet him, to walk me down the aisle someday, to be Uncle Michael to my kids. My voice broke. I wish I could thank you. Tell you I see you now. Tell you I'm sorry I thought you were cold. Sorry I didn't understand. Silence, just the wind. But I can't. You're gone and all I can do is live. Live the life you gave everything to make possible. I stood up, brushed grass off my jeans. So, that's what I'm doing. Living for both of us, being happy for both of us, succeeding for both of us. I put my hand on the headstone, One last touch. I love you, Michael. I always will, and I promise I won't waste this. I won't waste the life you saved. I walked away, got in my car, drove home. And I did what Dr. Wilson said. I lived, I worked hard, got that promotion, made partner 3 years later. I married Daniel. Small wedding. Wished Michael could have been there, but I carried his photo down the aisle, pinned to my bouquet. I had 2 kids, named my son Michael, my daughter Grace, for the grace Michael showed me by never giving up. I told him about their uncle, about the sacrifice, about the love. And every year on March 3rd, the anniversary of his death, we visit his grave, leave flowers, tell him about our year. The foundation grew. By 2030, we'd helped over 200 people. By 2035, over 500. Every single one of them alive because Michael had saved me first. His sacrifice rippling outward, touching lives he'd never meet, saving people he'd never know. That's the thing about love like Michael's. It doesn't end with death. It multiplies, spreads, becomes something bigger than one person. Michael saved me, I saved others. They'll save others, on and on, forever.
One man, one choice, one sacrifice.
Infinite impact. I'm Sarah Brennan. I'm 38 now, 14 years since Michael died. And I think about him every single day. I think about the brother who gave everything so I could have anything. The brother who worked himself to exhaustion so I could rest. The brother who died believing I'd live a beautiful life. And I have. God, I have. Not because I'm special. Not because I deserve it, but because Michael believed I did, and he made it possible. I can't thank him, can't hug him, can't tell him I finally understand. But I can live well. I can be happy. I can help others. And every day I do that, I honor him. Every day I choose life. I prove his sacrifice wasn't in vain. That's all he wanted. For me to be okay, to be happy, to live. So I'm living for both of us. And I hope wherever he is, he knows, he sees, he understands that his little sister finally gets it. I see you, Michael. I see everything you did. And I love you. I love you more than I can ever express. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for loving me when I didn't know I needed it. Thank you for being the kind of brother who sacrifices everything and asks for nothing. You were the best of us, the best of humanity, and I'll spend the rest of my life trying to be worthy of what you gave me. Rest easy, big brother. Your little sister is okay, more than okay. I'm living the life you dreamed for me, and it's beautiful. If you've stayed with me through this story, thank you. Stories like this matter. They remind us that love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, invisible, written in bank statements, and sacrifice. Subscribe to The Quiet Reckoning. We tell stories about the people who gave everything and asked for nothing, about love that costs everything, about the heroes we didn't see until they were gone. And if you have a Michael in your life, someone who's quietly sacrificing for you, tell them today, right now. Don't wait until you're sitting at their grave wishing you'd said it while they could hear you. Tell them now. While there's still time,